Hello guys, welcome to our devotional today. We're still in the book of James chapter 1 and we're in verse 18 at the moment. Intriguing passage over here. It says this, as we said yesterday, of his own will he brought us forth by the word of truth, that we might be a kind of first fruits of his creation or his creatures. First fruits, that's an interesting term. If you want to get to know what first fruits look like, I'm not an expert, but I do know this, that there's a great reference to first fruits in the Old Testament. If you see how God claimed the first tenth of everything, he claimed the first child that was born. He claimed the first cow that was born, calf that was born. He claimed the first of everything. God said belongs to me. It is offered up for destruction or for my use. That's on the basis of the whole sacrificial system, where people would bring their sacrifice, they would bring their thank offerings, they would bring their gifts to God, and that once a year they would bring a 1/10 offering, which would be the tithe offering. And it was 1/10 of all that they'd earned, 1/10 of all the crop that they'd grown, 1/10 of all the fruit of the cattle in the field. And they would bring it and they would offer it to God as a first fruit offering. Now, God did not need their stuff. God does not need lots of cows and sheep and fruit and vegetables. He doesn't need that stuff. He was trying to teach us to trust him. And the first fruit aspect is exactly that. Don't give him the last 10% when you found 90% of what you need and you've lived off, and then say, well, what's left over? Let me give that to God. God said, I want the first fruit offering to be given. It was a statement of faith. It was a statement that says, God, I'm going to give you the first 10% because I know that I'm going to trust you for the rest, the other 90. It was a statement of faith, and a beautiful one at that. And when God says that we are his first fruit offering, I would suspect that probably the same thing applies, that we are the offering that will be for God's use, or for destruction. God wants to use you to be able to be a blessing. God wants to use you as a first fruit offering for the purposes for which he ordains it to be used. And he can choose whatever that purpose may be. It's not up to you. You just have to offer yourself as a first fruit offering and say, Lord, this is me. I am your first fruit offering in the context of all the other offerings around. I offer myself totally to you for destruction or for your use. Now, in the Old Testament, the destruction was of the animal and of the fruit that was born. Most of it was burnt as an offering to God. Nowadays, I think that first fruit offering is God's purpose of the church. That God has a church. He has a body. We are a mission people. We are his missionary agents into this world. And God wants to use us as first fruit offering, which means total dedication to the purpose of God. It means we get no say in the matter. We don't deliberate with God and say, well, I don't mind being the 10% offering or my first fruit offering to you, as long as I can do this and as long as I benefit from that. A true first fruit offering is one that is laid on the altar, and the offerer turns around and says, Lord, that's it. That's my offering. Do with it as you like. Oh, we are that first fruit offering. Should we not be doing the same thing? Should we not be laying ourselves on the altar and saying, Lord, here I am. Do what you want with me. I want to serve your purpose. I want to serve you so that your will can be done and the planet that has been stolen from you by Satan can be retrieved. I'm willing to enroll. I want to fight your cause. I want to live for you. I want to just be what you want me to be. You are God's first fruit offering. Now, tragedy, when we speak about this stuff, there's quite an emotive factor here, and that in church services we can make people pretty emotional over this issue. We're saying, get on the altar and allow God to take you for everything that you are. Let him just do with you what he wants. And they're saying, yeah, I want to get on the altar, I want to get on to. I'm going to tell people, by the time they've got to the door, they're all back off the altar again, or many of them are. I'm not knocking it, but when there's true extent to what God has called you to hits home, you realize how serious God is about your life being totally dedicated to Him. The first offering, fruit offering, was offered up for His service or for destruction. God gets to choose. God gets to choose completely. So I hope that you'll understand that deep truth today and get on that altar. Offer yourself in your totality to God and watch what He does with you. Have a good day. Cheers.